smart enough to smile and snark and make comments like, I didn't realize I was that powerful. You know, he probably doesn't, frankly, Laura. He probably doesn't because it's probably not him. But there are definitely puppets. And those puppets are coming from the Biden administration and probably from prior administrations.
Hey guys,
and they're out to get
welcome to XCOM 2 Log War the Chosen Mod Jam modded.
Yeah, Alina, are you saying that you believe former Obama administration officials are also somehow involved, at least in the background here?
I find it a little bit odd that he never left Washington, and then when he did, he goes
Game's going pretty good so far.
Him and the Clintons are flying on Air Force One with President Biden. I also find it odd that we have a president that can't speak or walk. But here we are. This is America, and we cannot survive another 4 years of it.
Well, Alina, Michael Cohen had a message for Trump today on MSNBC.
The truth is, you're in trouble. A whole confinement scenario would be just fine, the way I see it. And I believe that Judge Rashad, I find him very Solomonian. He's really very even-keeled. He will make the right decision.
Your response to that tonight, Alina?
This is a man that I've beaten in court because he thought that the judges were corrupt himself. He thought that President Trump had unlawfully detained him, and we beat him. We beat him twice, and we'll beat him again. He is completely a hypocrite. He has no credibility. Now that this trial's over, I can say, what a joke. You know, what a joke. You are literally making money off of President Trump. It's enough. And frankly, if this is what the DAs and AGs of America are relying on, people and individuals like this, again, we're in trouble, and it's pathetic. And frankly, I'll be honest with you, Laura, I don't think they could do it without the Biden administration because their cases are so weak. So they need that coordination. They need the Soros backing to get it done.
Well, Alina, do you think the system no longer works because of these types of jury charges that the judge handed down that was quite broad, quite lengthy, took an hour and 40 minutes to read to the jury? They took enough of what Michael Cohen said as gospel to infer intent upon your client with a novel application of the law. It's never been used in this way before. And
Try that again. Says it was clear. It's obviously not clear.
I think we're broken right now. I think our judicial system is not supposed to be intervened by political ambitions. I think that when that happens, when you have a judge who's a Trump-hating judge, frankly, who happens to get Steve Bannon's case, happens to get Alan Weisselberg, my former client's case, gets it again, puts him back in jail, and then gets Donald Trump's case, I think we got a problem. It's supposed to be random, Laura. There is no way. I have practiced law in New York for 15 years. There is absolutely no way that this happened. I have cases 3 years old. I've never been in front of a judge. It's supposed to be random. But President Trump, it doesn't work that way. They're out to get him. And guess what? We're only making him stronger.
Well, Alina, why haven't you all yet filed a motion to vacate that gag order after a verdict has come in? Gag orders typically are just lifted, but they're now using what former President Trump said today as another justification for going back to Judge Rashad for another penalty for violating the gag order. But why haven't you guys filed that motion yet?
They have filed motions in the appellate division. They were under sealed, obviously, and there are motions that we can't discuss. There are obviously still gag orders, but the reality is they have exhausted all avenues, but there are so many. And for the American people, I just want to say, please do not think we do not hear all of the commentary, all of the cases. I get tons of emails of support telling us, look at this case, look at that case. There is no stone we will not turn, and we will literally go after every avenue to make sure the president gets back to the White House, because that is the only place he is going.
Alina, thank you so much. Great to see you tonight.
It's reckless. It's dangerous. It's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict. The justice system should be respected, and we should never allow anyone to tear it down.
Now, did that happen after Roe v. Wade was overturned? I seem to remember people taking on Kavanaugh and hanging out in his neighborhood. Was that a problem? Well, the message, look, is clear. If you question the legitimacy of a trial, then you're a threat to America. But I don't think that people are buying this. We see the so-called defenders of democracy have officially dropped their shields and picked up the weapons of warfare. The conviction of President Trump might mark one of the darkest periods in American history, but the fight to preserve the country we love, that's ongoing. Joining me now, Missouri Senator Josh Hawley, Senator, your response, given what Biden said, it reminds me of what they said after the election, that anyone who questioned the outcome or had even concerns about some of the irregularities or the way voting was conducted, that they were threats and that they had to be followed or surveilled. It seems very reminiscent of that.
Yeah, and now, Laura, we've entered the phase where Joe Biden says in order to save democracy, he has to cancel democracy. In order to preserve the right of the people to govern, he's got to throw his opponent in jail and make sure the people don't have a choice in November. I mean, this is something we've never seen before in American history. Our election process is supposed to end with an election, not withdrawing your opponent in jail.
Love that grenade launcher.
Nobody's ever done this before. I mean, Joe Biden,
Besides the gremlin, it's one of my favorite things.
These same Democrats, I thought 24 hours ago, were mounting a full-on assault on Justice Samuel Alito in the Supreme Court, calling for recusal, calling into question the court's decisions. Why? Because they didn't like a flag that Justice Alito flew. But now, this verdict is sacrosanct. I mean, give me a break. It's a total rig job, and they know it.
Well, remember, again, the Justice Department was dragging its feet when there was real intimidation campaign that was waged against Justice Kavanaugh. They never got over the fact that he actually was confirmed and that he had life tenure. Never got over the fact that Justice Thomas got life tenure. They're still trying to drag these guys through the mud at every turn. And yet suddenly we're the great defenders of the institutions. They're the biggest norm busters out there, and they don't give a rip.
Listen, the only institutions that the Democrats are interested in are the ones that they can control and get to do their bidding, which is why they're attacking the Supreme Court. When an assassin showed up at Justice Kavanaugh's house, they could hardly shrug their shoulders. When Chuck Schumer went to the steps of the Supreme Court and named justices by name and threatened them, you're not going to know what's hit you, is what he said. And he called out Kavanaugh and Gorsuch. They just shrugged their shoulders. But now all of this is sacrosanct. Laura, let's not have any confusion here. These people, the Biden people, the Democrats, are trying to tear down the rule of law. They're trying to bulldoze every norm in this country so they can remain in power. That's all they care about is power. And which is why the only answer to this is to win in November.
And meanwhile, Senators, everyone was focused on this, understandably. We learned yesterday that the president had okayed U.S. arms being used inside Russia, which of course was stunning to all of us who are actually focusing on what's happening in Ukraine. Your thoughts on that tonight? These people seem to want war with Russia.
Oh, war. And the reason is that it just is more about control, Laura. This president is all about what will help them stay in power, what will give them more control. I have to think at this point, if he can provoke a wider war, it's almost to his political benefit, he may calculate. This is terrible. By the way, they're not telling us the truth about Ukraine. They're not telling us the truth about where our weapons are going. They're not telling us the truth about where our soldiers are. I predict to you soon we're going to find out that U.S. soldiers are in Ukraine. The U.S. soldiers are advising, quote unquote, just like Vietnam, Ukrainian troops on the ground. It's constant escalation and constant lies. Exactly right. All about that.
Yeah, that was very disturbing news. We learned yesterday. People focus on the other issues as well. This is important, but they're trying to sneak a lot else through. Senator, thank you. All right, the prospect of Trump prison sentence. Yeah, that has been ruling. We'll try to wipe it up next.
Spirit.
Nice guy, though. Nothing like a little confidence boost that'll ease you back to the latest. That includes having a smile you feel good about. Fortunately, Aspen Dental specializes in dentures and implants just for you. And with flexible financing, you don't need to sacrifice quality work for a price that fits your budget. It's $0 down with 0% interest, paid in full in 18 months. Helping more patients put their best smile forward. Just one more way. Aspen Dental is in your corner. Imagine a future where plastic is not wasted, but instead remade over and over into the things that keep our food fresher, our families safer, and our planet cleaner. To help us get there, America's plastic makers are investing billions of dollars to create innovative products and new recycling technologies for sustainable change. Because when you push for smarter solutions, it wins.
Getting your drink conditioned is easier than you think.
Cabinets to Go can design a beautiful, high quality, and affordable kitchen makeover that is sure to wow. They have stores nationwide and they transform over 250,000 kitchens. Hi, I'm Alpha Victoria, and as a designer, I choose how to store for my clients because of their amazing value and style. They have everything you need for your makeover, from a free 3D design to fast install.
I couldn't believe how quickly the turnaround was.
And the price. Choose from thousands of the latest designer styles and color combinations, or check out my curated collections. You get the highest quality cabinetry and premium features, all backed by a transformative lifetime warranty.
Cabinets to Go is a place to go.
Our new kitchen has become so
Get started on your dream kitchen.
Visit a Cabinets to Go showroom or cabinetstogo.com to schedule your free design consultation today. Cabinets to Go. Wow, for less.
Here I come.
Prolong may look like a diet,
Got eyes on the objective.
but it's not. It's science. Science we call the Prolong 5-Day Program. This patented nutrition technology triggers a fasting state while you eat, allowing the body to reset, rejuvenate healthy cells,
Happy now?
all while burning fat, protecting muscle,
Say so.
maintaining healthy blood sugar. Prolong is not a diet. It's science. This science is available at prolong.com.
You open the box and see the envelope from your health insurance company. You hold your breath. Will they pay for your child's treatment this time? You open the letter and find that you've been denied again. A month later, another letter arrives. Your premiums are going up again. They're making record profits and still cannot increase their rates by 12%. How can the health insurance companies get away with this?
A new era in college sports. Hall of Fame star athletes impact smaller programs. Renegades choose grind for a campus interview. Saturday on One Nation.
Working in safe places, that very much makes it a local feel.
I'm going.
Meaningful connections with people right here in our community.
You're kind of
Why am I on cargo
every
duty?
time I want to say it's court, at least I go to the court and they just let me through.
Get ready for a surprise. Take a look at this. Move, move, move! It's not explosive or anything, right? I must run. Head for
I found out about it.
running.
I was sitting inside of my building on the phone, talking to someone
This
saying,
looks like the stuff.
"Who is that?" I
Solid copy.
14 years ago.
Advancing quickly. Let's move already. Anyone got the password?
Oh, these people are salivating. You've seen them. The prospect of Trump at Rikers? Wow. How about having fitted with an ankle bracelet?
Norm, you're the one who predicted that Trump's sentence would be less than a year and could be served at the notorious Rikers Island jail.
When Trump had committed his 10th violation of the gag order, 10 findings of contempt, he said, if you do it again, I'm going to have to put you in jail. Alvin Bragg is going to ask for a sentence of incarceration. And I think Judge Mershon will very seriously weigh that.
He could show some remorse. He has shown no remorse at all.
You got to do a little bit of time, and then you have to say to the judge, you know, I did this, I'm sorry. And then show remorse. That's the walk them out.
Get out of here.
When have they ever been sorry for anything? All the lies these people have told consistently. Look, these people are sick at some point. If Joe Biden had been charged with conspiracy to evade taxes back in 2019, or with a violation of the Foreign Agency Registration Act, all this China stuff, I don't know, maybe in some jurisdiction in Oklahoma or Mississippi, imagine what the gals at The View would be saying today. Election interference will be. Join me now, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, Governor. They want all the roadblocks, Governor, to Trump's incarceration removed. Some on the left are even demanding that he should lose his Secret Service protection. Your reaction tonight?
Well, Laura, you know this better than anyone. This has been an 8-year-old progression from the day that Donald Trump beat Hillary Clinton. There's been an effort, one after another, escalating to try to stop him. And it doesn't. And the good news is it doesn't matter. I was very sad yesterday. Yesterday was a sad day for America. Today I'm optimistic because you look at the response from people that are outside the bubble of D.C. and they can see right through it. They can see that President Trump is out there working on the issues that matter to them. So you went to bed last night worrying about this, and you woke up today when you still can't pay your bill for food, for grocery. If you're worried about open borders, if your city's been run amok, if you're worried about wars overseas, there's one guy who just 4 years ago in his office took care of all those things. And now Joe Biden is trying to lock up the guy that was the person that solved your problem. So Americans understand what's going on. They understand this is a politicization. This is lawfare. They get that. And that's why you're going to see, I think President Trump is going to get a bump coming out of this.
Now, a lot of people in the activist space are so fed up with the Republican Party that they say, look, unless you're filing lawsuits or unless you're trying to bring criminal cases in red districts against Democrats, we don't want to hear from you. What about that idea of fighting fire with fire here, Governor?
Well, at some point, we've got to get focused back on the real issues, because not only is this trial election interference, but think of it, Laura, you know this better than anyone, but outside that courthouse, there was 2 blocks of media was there. And of course, I've been down to the southern border with North Dakota National Guard, more than Biden, more than Harris. Where's the media covering the mass invasion?
They don't care. They're cheering it.
Yeah, and when you think about the fact that now we've had 330,000 Americans have died of either overdoses or fentanyl poisons under Joe Biden.
They don't care.
Right.
It's collateral damage, Governor. It's collateral damage. The Democrats do not care that we have 12 million people here illegally, and if anything, they want them to vote. Governor, we're up against it tonight. I'm going to have you back next week. There's a lot more to talk about. Thank you. Now, I know what many of you are thinking tonight. As long as Trump's in court in New York, the Empire State, how does he have a prayer of reversal? Well, CNN's Ali Honig admits that the law was contorted here and that an appeal may work. He said he's certain to contest the inventive charges constructed by the DA. Well, he doesn't go as far as to say that appeals court is likely to overturn the conviction, but he's going to have a decent shot at reversal. Joining me now, Saul Weisenberg, Fox News contributor, former deputy independent counsel, Chris Landau, former Supreme Court law clerk, and former ambassador to Mexico. Chris, let's start with you here. You're an appellate litigator. You've argued many cases before the Supreme Court. What is the appellate process, state first and a possible federal move as well?
Sure. Well, New York, like many states, has a 3-tier justice system. The trial court, where the conviction is just, or the jury verdict is just held. Then there's an intermediate court of appeals. You have an appeal as of right to that court. And then you have a state Supreme Court in New York. It's called the Court of Appeals, that takes cases on a discretionary basis. And then you can go to the U.S. Supreme Court and you have federal issues. But Laura, I think right now we got to be talking not about just the eventual appeal. That's going to drive on well beyond the election. I think the question now is, how does Trump get out of Judge Rashad's courtroom? And how are the compelling federal interests in having a candidate for president of the United States break free of the constraints of Judge Rashad? I mean, there should be, it seems to me, a basis for a federal claim that a state cannot hold a candidate for president of the United States basically hostage.
And so this is a fascinating question, and I know we've all talked about this. You've had so much experience in litigation in your career as well. The court does not like to touch political questions. They're very concerned about the reputation of the court. Certainly Justice John Roberts is, all of them. But in this case, this is extraordinary and historic. Does that then give impetus to the court to step in where they might not have wanted to and in another event?
I think it would be an incredible long shot if they did. I think it would have to be something like you mentioned, where Merchant does something in terms of the conditions of release while the appeal is pending that significantly interferes with the election campaign. Then you've got a potential constitutional issue. But in addition to not liking political question cases, Laura, they do not like to come in and interfere in state criminal process.
But what if the state, yeah, but Saul, what if Marshawn is the one who's doing it? Yeah, the problem is Marshawn is the one who's interfering with the process. If let's say on July 11th, they say you can't campaign outside the state of New York without explicit permission from his probation officer working in concert with someone maybe in Florida. What if he says that? That's likely what he's going to say.
3 hours.
That would give them a hook. I still think it will be a long shot, but that would give them a hook because there you're posing a real conflict between the right of somebody to run, a candidate to run his party effectively for president in a state judicial system, but still, it would be a long shot.
Chris, do you think it's a long shot? Do you think it's 50-50? Real quick.
Of course it's a long shot, but this is just an extraordinary, unprecedented case in American history. This is not your normal criminal appeal. I mean, I understand what someone's saying is right in the run-of-the-mind case, but I think the Supreme Court of the United States, right now they're grappling with a presidential immunity case. They are very familiar with these issues. Again, they're the Supreme Court of the United States. Everything else is the courts of the state of New York. The Supreme Court of the United States is uniquely qualified to recognize the compelling federal interest here. I'm very concerned about the idea of Trump just spending the next 6 weeks waiting for the sentencing before Judge Rashad. Everybody's twiddling their thumbs. I mean, come on, right? Right now, guys sitting there at Judge Rashad's court with a pygmy sign on his back.
Saul, Chris, we're going to be tracking this. Thank you both very much. All right, up next, it's time that DA Alvin Bragg go under the microscope, and my next guest is going to do just that and more. House Judiciary Committee Chair Jim Jordan joins us.
Announcing Camping World's Inflation Buster camping program. You can now get into a new RV starting at just $98 a month. Or this family camper that sleeps fine at now just $108 a month. Or this well-appointed couples camper for just $175 a month. We won't let the economy steal your camping season. We've worked with our preferred bank partners to lower monthly payments like never before, so we can make RVing more affordable than ever before. Click, call, or come into your local Camping World to take advantage of this very limited time offer and lock in your low monthly payment today.
My husband and I own a growing beverage company. We rely on e-commerce and digital tools to build our business and launch new products. Thanks to American investments in AI, we're using this technology to run our business more efficiently. Artificial intelligence is a game changer. I'm excited that the U.S. is leading the world in its development. Our leaders should continue to protect America's competitive edge, to strengthen small businesses like ours.
First time, no biggie.
We recommend to exfoliate the night before. When you come in, relax, don't be nervous.
Comfort Wax changed the whole game.
Smoother skin, less ingrown hair, less irritation. In and out in under 15. And our products are amazing. Come on to the others right now. And not only is your skin going to thank us, you're going to thank us.
What are you waiting for? Get your first wax free.
My name is Annie, and I have been taking Down to Nature for over 2.5 years. I mean, this one thing I told my son, I said, if anything ever happens to me, the one thing I want is my Down to Nature. I don't care if I don't have anything else, but you make sure you order that for me every month. I tell everybody about Down to Nature. I feel like everybody ought to take them.
Get 35% off plus a free fiber and spice supplement by using discount code FOXNEWS.
Helping families with mesothelioma is all we do. Our firm has been offering a free book on mesothelioma for over 10 years. Since that time, thousands with mesothelioma have trusted us to represent them against those risks. We have local offices throughout the U.S. Mesothelioma really is all we do, and there is no risk to you. Let us put a plan in place for you and your family. Call now.
Call us at 800-333-4485 or go to mesobook.com.
If you know luxury, it's not just rewarding, it's rewarding. Something all types of sleepers with durable steel coils and plush organic powder. Luxury is handcrafted in American factories and brought directly to you by our free annual white glove delivery service, which is why over 90% of customers would recommend Safa to friends and family. Safa, luxury mattresses made of
Discover our newest resort, Sandals St. Vincent and the Grenadines, now open. Visit sandals.com or 1-800-SANDALS.
Do you call them caramels or caramels? Whatever you call them, caramels.com makes 26 mouth-watering flavors that are the freshest and softest caramels ever produced. Try them for yourself or someone you know. Go today to caramels.com and see for yourself.
Only from SimpliSafe. 24/7 lifeguard protection. This exclusive technology allows SimpliSafe agents to help stop crime in real time.
Stop. Police are on their way.
For instant intruder deterrence and faster police response. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
The future. The way you see it is said to depend on where you sit. At XChair, we think it also gets down to how you sit, which is why our technology is light years ahead. With our groundbreaking LMX technology, bringing hot, cold, and touch into one extraordinary seating experience. At XChair, we've got our eye on the future for you, so you can focus on the present. Visit xchair.com and find out how you can own an XChair for only $20 a month. xchair.com.
The West was a chaotic, brutal, progress, and explosive violence. Jesse James, Blackheart, and Butch Cassidy became icons to a nation desperate for heroes. As long as some chose to live outside the law, others would always be ready to put their lives on the line to bring them to justice. You think you can serve area? No. This is Outlaws and Lawmen on Fox Station.
It's Kubota Orange Days. Shop the year's biggest selection of Kubota equipment and get 0% APR for 84 months or up to $3,300 off select compact tractors. Find your nearest dealer at KubotaOrangeDays.com.
When you can't watch, listen. Get the latest news, business, and news headlines on SiriusXM. Anytime, anywhere. Fox News Audio on SiriusXM. America is listening.
They're not even trying to hide how political this is.
I want to thank this phenomenal prosecution team, embodying the finest traditions of this office: professionalism, integrity, dedication, and service. They are model public servants.
You see that little shrimpy guy on the right? Wow. Hey, wait, did he say public service? See that little shrimpy guy there? Okay, that's Matthew Colangelo, okay, former top DOJ official. Public servant, well, they're serving Joe Biden and his goons. But it's a very curious thing how you would leave a top job at the DOJ, where you're very senior in the federal government, to go back to New York DA's office. Usually go the other way. So what's up here? Joining us now, this man who wants some answers, Jim Jordan, demanding that the pair of them, Bragg and Colangelo, testified before the House Weaponization Committee subcommittee on June 13th. They want to give Trump deadlines, Congressman. You're giving them one. What question do you want to ask them?
Yeah. Well, it's time to keep our foot on the gas because we know how political this whole thing is. All these cases, how political they are. But Matthew Colangelo, he worked first. What just said he started at the Justice Department, Lauren? He worked for Letitia James. So he's in New York. He comes to the Justice Department, number 3 position in the Biden Justice Department, then goes back to New York to work for Alvin Bragg and was the lead prosecutor in the Trump case. So we'd like to know what kind of conversations, what kind of information, what went on between you and the Justice Department and or the White House while you were here.
These guys look pretty good.
And then with Alvin Bragg, never forget that Alvin Bragg said once he got the job, he campaigned on going after Trump. But once he got the job, he realized what a ridiculous case this was. And he said, quote, "I cannot envision a world where I would indict President Trump and call Michael Cohen as a prosecution witness." But that's exactly what Alvin Bragg ended up doing. But he didn't do that until after President Trump announced he was running for president, which I think just underscores how political this thing is. So we'd like to ask Alvin Bragg, what prompted you to change your mind? Was it simply the political pressure? And we'd like to ask Mr. Colangelo about his interactions with the Justice Department and or the White House.
Well, do you have any information to indicate that Colangelo was stupid enough to be in constant contact or in intermittent contact with his old friends at DOJ as this was all going down?
We don't, but look, we think, in light of how bad this is, in light of Jack Smith, remember this too. Jack Smith doesn't get appointed special counsel in these federal cases until 3 days after President Trump announces he's running for office. And Bonnie Willis doesn't bring her charges until after President Trump announces he's running for president. So we think they're all political. We think they're all in coordination, all run by the Democrat Party, all involved in the Democrat Party, I should say. So we got lots of questions we'd like to ask. And, I think the American people deserve some answers. And frankly, our constitutional duty is to do oversight. And we're going to do that consistent with the Constitution, but we're going to do it as aggressive as we can.
Alina Bamba was saying earlier on the show, Congressman, that she believes that the Obama people, some of the former top people in the Obama administration, might have some involvement in how this lawfare has been conducted. Do you agree with her?
Well, I don't know, but what I do know is 2 days ago there was a story saying the Biden Justice Department was in negotiations with Peter Strzok and Lisa Page on some settlement agreement because Lisa Page and Peter Strzok were upset that their text messages got public. So they're in some settlement. They're going to get some money, and then a day later we get President Trump convicted up in found guilty on this ridiculous trial up in New York. If that doesn't demonstrate the double standard, I mean, remember Strzok and Page had been after President Trump clear back in 2016 when they spied on his campaign. So I don't know the direct answer to that question. What I do know is there's two standards.
It's all of a piece. Congressman, thank you. All right, why Chief Biden should really be worried about what happened yesterday? Yeah, they should be worried. I'll explain it next.
It's just amazing. Our founder, Johnny Boris's dad, he was firsthand. They created a boat that was more affordable. Tracker, the world's #1 best-selling fishing and pontoon boats powered by Mercury, proudly built in Missouri and sold factory direct at Bass Pro Shops and soy dealers. For as little as $5 a day, you can operate a Tracker and make lifelong memories in your home. Bass Pro Shops, voted America's best outdoor retailer. See even more and support conservation. Join the club.
There's news. And there's good news. Like thousands of patients receiving free, life-changing surgeries. From volunteer doctors and nurses on hospital shifts. All made possible by donations. We love good news.
AG1 works by making foundational nutrition easier. Combining vitamins, probiotics, and whole food source nutrients into one comprehensive formula. Start simplifying your nutrition today at drinkag1.com.
Ego, the #1 rated brand for design to empower and brings you the Ego Powered Street Trip with powerful technology. Hit the line, push the button, and get back to work. Ego exclusive Lowe's Case and Ego authorized dealers. Fungus is tough to kill and it can spread.
It's time to start using fungi. Maximum Spring Fungi is so powerful it cures and prevents fungal infections. Plus, it has apple and tea tree oil to restore skin health. Say goodbye to toe fungus with Fungi Nail.
You open your mailbox and see the envelope from your health insurance company. You hold your breath. Will they pay for the child's dream this time? You open the letter and find that you've been denied again. A month later, another letter arrives. Your premiums are going up again. They're making record profits and still plan on increasing their rates by 12%. How can the health insurance companies get away with this?
My back got injured very bad. I was off work for about a year. I heard about relief factor from my wife. I took it every day, 3 times a day, for 3 weeks. Look at her. I said, the pain is gone. And she said, I'm glad it helped. I said, no, you don't understand. It's gone.
You too can feel better every day with Relief Factor, a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Call or go online now. Get 35% off your first order.
Our inspiration did prove beneficial.
On Fox.
Warfare in New York City are backfiring on the Democratic Party. We have the very latest polls and fundraising stats. Don't miss it tonight on Hannity.
Though I was never witness to one myself, countless observers attest to the existence of a much smaller, less intimidating variant of the spectrum that took part in the original invasion. In the time since, this new being, the product of clear genetic manipulation, is now a familiar face to our forces operating in the field. I have to admit, there is something exciting about working under the more intense conditions found on the Avenger. Every decision, every development is of the utmost importance. There's no room for mistakes here.
Holy, just in moments ago, post-verdict, last 24 hours, Trump has raised a staggering $52.8 billion. Joining me now for Arkansas Gov, Mike Huckabee, and Matt Towery, political analyst and pollster. Governor, for some perspective here, in 24 hours, Trump raised more than Biden did all last month. Did they awake a sleeping giant here?
They really did, and that's what I've been saying for the past 24 hours. They got what they wanted, but they are not going to want what they got. It has been a big backfire, like the exploding cigar, like Wile E. Coyote chasing Roadrunner, and it just hasn't worked out at all for them the way they thought. Donald Trump, I think, is in the strongest position he's ever been in because people in this country aren't as stupid as the Democrats must think they are.
Matt, I think people have a general sense of fairness and they want a chance to vote for the candidate that they like best. So I would agree with the governor. This was just really dumb in the end for them to do, but that's all they got. What should we expect and when should we expect the next round of polls to come out? What should we be looking for?
Well, it'll start coming out fairly soon. It depends on how the polls conducted. You know, they could possibly show Biden getting a bump out of this. I would say he has to get a really big bump against Trump for this to stay, because he's going to go right back to where he was 2 or 3 weeks before, 2 or 3 weeks from now. It's also possible that Trump could get a bump. The governor's right. It's phenomenal enthusiasm. It's irritation, and they're all keeping it to themselves because no one wants to take to the streets because they don't want to go to jail. So what do? They write a check. They say they're going to support the president and vote early. One other thing, you and I talked about this over the last year, and I've said I thought they would convict Trump. I didn't think fairly. And I also think that they'll try to put him in jail. If they put him in jail, Donald Trump is guaranteed being elected the next president. Guaranteed.
Game set, man. Governor, let's say this doesn't move the needle. If this doesn't move the needle, provide them polls that much at least, what do the Democrats do next? What's the next move?
Well, I think they take Joe Biden to the train station. I think that's what they do. Where else do they take it? I mean, this is their desperate move, and it ain't working. So in the pure parlance of the Yellowstone series, he gets a ride to ride the train.
Okay. I mean, this is quite something, right? You're willing to shred our norms, that you don't put a former president on trial. You're willing to kill the reputation of a judicial system, Constitution, shred it all, just because you don't want to have a real debate and a real campaign against Trump. Why are they so worried now?
Well, I mean, there's obvious reasons why they're so worried. They deteriorate both polls and also its appearance. I will say this, the Republicans have got to explain why this quote-unquote crooked trial. You can't just say it.
Because right now you have the liberal fact checkers and the media saying, oh, this has all been debunked. I've already read it today. Oh, all that's been debunked. So someone has to get out there and spell out these reasons. But I do think the debate coming between the two candidates will spell it all. If Biden doesn't perform on that debate, I think he'll pull his ticket and take him to the train station just like the governor said.
Okay, well, who wants to go to the train station? Better than flying, given my recent experience. Thank you so much. All right, the left is in total jubilation over this conviction. But the president misplaces the Kansas City Chiefs campaign. He's with it, right? Raymond tells us next. Hey! Crank, crank? You. You up to 7, Brady.
And which has became icons
Yeah, we're saving this. We'll see you next time, all right, boys? Stay tuned. I know you want to.
This is Outlaws Enrollment on Fox Station.
In the world's worst places, children with cleft conditions live in darkness and shame.